My name is Jonathan Weber, and I'm the Florida Policy Director for the SPLC Action Fund. How y'all doing? SPLC Action is a catalyst for racial justice in the South and beyond, working in partnership with communities just like you to dismantle white supremacy, strengthen intersectional movements, and advance the human rights of all people. What a wonderful day for voting rights. First, I'd like to thank Senator Geraldine Thompson and Representative LaVon Gracie Davis for sponsoring the Harriette V and Harriette V Florida Voting Rights Act, and every Senate Democrat and almost every single House Democrat for co-sponsoring this bill. Your leadership matters, this bill matters, and because the future of our country matters, so thank you. However, we aren't just here to celebrate today. We are here with a message to Florida's lawmakers, specifically House and Senate leadership and our governor. Our message: voting rights are human rights. So it's time to pass the Florida Voting Rights Act now. At SPLC Action Fund, we ground our work in a deep understanding and recognition of the Deep South and Florida's inseparable and extensive history of racial discrimination in our elections. A history that, since emancipation and the passage of the right to vote to formerly enslaved people, has been marred by numerous voter suppression tactics aimed to limit the participation and representation of people of color. But some may ask, why do we need a state voting rights act? Don't we have one at the national level? Didn't thousands upon thousands of Americans advocate and march and vote to pass the Voting Rights Act in 1965? Well, the answer is yes. We do have a federal Voting Rights Act. But just over 10 years ago, the United States Supreme Court's decision in the voting rights case Shelby versus Holder undid some of the most important provisions of that Voting Rights Act and dramatically changed the landscape of voting rights across the Deep South. Their decision gutted a critical accountability tool that had protected the voting rights of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color in states with a history of discriminatory voting practices, including Florida. As a result, over the past several years, anti-democracy lawmakers have gone out of their way to undermine every aspect of our elections, from changes to how we register to vote, where we vote, who can vote, and more. And no longer do any of these types of changes have to be approved by the federal government to ensure they aren't discriminatory. And maybe most egregiously, when voters ask for help to clarify some of these deliberately confusing laws, they've been denied. And as a result, people have been arrested simply for trying to vote. We can do better. The Florida Voting Rights Act is better, and these two lawmakers, with each and every one of you at their side, are the reason we will get there. Yesterday, I spoke to the 5th grade class at Tallahassee's Cornerstone Learning Community about voting rights. I love talking to children about voting rights because kids get it better than anybody. Kids understand fairness. Kids understand that rules matter. Try playing a board game with any one of them. Kids understand that in order for everything to work, everyone should have an opportunity to take a turn, no matter what you look like or where you come from. Florida's leaders could learn a lot from our kids. And I told these young learners yesterday, and I hope and I expect this bill to be passed by the time they register to vote when they're 18. And these children give me hope that a better future is not only possible, it is imminent. Yes. Our country was founded on a promise that shines like a torch throughout the world. The promise of one person equals one vote. Now we know that since the founding of our country, that torch did not shine on everyone, leaving millions of people in the shadows of our country. But the promise is true, and it's why we advocate, why we rally, and why we fight. That torch, that promise, is not relit every generation. It is passed down from one generation to the next, just as Harriette V and Harriette V did. Those of us with a little gray in our beards, maybe in our hair, it is our responsibility to make sure we hand off that torch to those younger than us, so that they may continue the struggle to make sure that all people, especially those that may not look like us, or maybe even disagree with us, they are treated equally under the law and have fair, easy access to participate in our elections. So, to the young ones in the audience, in the back, when I say voting rights, you say now. You guys ready? Voting rights! Yeah! Voting rights! Yeah!